Hello and welcome to the Chris Evans Podcast. I'm Chris Evans, coming to you from our Second Banana Media Studios. And as a nice reminder to always subscribe and like our page here at Second Banana Media. That way you can be notified of all the videos that we upload, as well as the shows that we go live with here on Second Banana Media. Today is Wednesday, April 17, 2024. It was the day of the verdict in the murder trial of Cody Bernard Scrugss. And I'll go into the big picture here at the beginning and then kind of go into the details of the trial. It started on Monday, and it was jury selection on Monday, and then the verdict came out on Wednesday. So this was the entire process of a murder trial of 3 days. In the past, we've seen these go on for 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. But this trial was pretty quick here today. Cody Bernard Scrugss found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Cody Scrugss, 33 years old, will spend the rest of his life behind bars. That was decided today by a jury pool of 12. And we'll kind of go into the details here. This case started back on January 3rd, 2021 in southern Logan County at a house where the assistant district attorney described it as a holiday weekend that turned into chaos. And the victim in the case was Michael Dean Cole, 47 years old. And so we'll kind of get into the details of this. This was a story that was covered by Guthrie News Page. Myself was at the scene the night this happened, which was about 8 o'clock in January. It was cold, and there was some light snow on the ground as well. But as I mentioned earlier, this trial started on Monday. And the state of Oklahoma, represented by the Logan County District Attorney's Office, was the Assistant District Attorney Matthew Adams and Assistant District Attorney Sarah Conley. And it was the first time that I have ever seen them work. Period. First time I ever see them, but they did I thought did a good job in this case. The attorney for Cody Scruggs was Joan Lopez. She's a court appointed attorney for Cody Scruggs. He was unable to afford attorney, so he was given one by the court. And she did a fantastic job as well. I've seen Joan work several times. And it's cases that are tough, but she does a really, really good job despite being in tough situations, much like she was in this case here today. Jury selection began Monday morning. There was, I didn't count, but maybe 30, 35, 40 prospective jurors in the Logan County courtroom. By the way, this was in front of Judge Corley, the district judge, Philip Corley. And Board Dyer, jury selection is a long process. There's a lot of questions. I was there that morning when you hear attorneys talk, I obviously know most of the details of the case, just being at the scene and preliminary hearings, but I never know how the attorneys are going to approach this case, and so they always ask questions, and now they make analogies that I know that's going on, but they, like for instance, they talked about football and a quarterback intending to throw to a receiver. Well, I know that they're looking for intent to find on Cody Scruggs. But it's just a weird way for me to kind of see how the attorneys are going to approach the case. But it was kind of an awe moment during jury selection. One of the prospective jurors, his dad was murdered in 2004 in Las Vegas, and so he's in the box and he's getting questions about his dad getting murdered in a murder trial. But obviously he was dismissed by. He did not have to sit there. He was dismissed. Each side, the district attorney's office gets 9 strikes. So they go through all these questions through all these jurors, and the state can say, we appreciate your service, but we don't want you on this case. And the district attorney's office gets 9 of those, and the defense gets 9 of those as well. So up to 18 if elected. That does not count the judge. If there's a reason why a judge would dismiss, the judge could do that as well. But in the end, the state ended up dismissing 4 jurors, and the defense use their max. They used all 9 of theirs. And that took all day Monday, and they were able to begin court, the actual case, on Tuesday. Again, Cody Scruggs. I'm going to go through my notes here, and I won't go through everything, but just kind of put this all into perspective here. Cody Scruggs facing first-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty in the case. And again, the victim here was Michael Dean Cole, 47 years old. The jury was made up of 5 white males, 7 white females, and 1 African-American woman as the alternate juror. And there was a very, very small deal with 1 juror, but the alternate was used all the way to the end until it was time to go to deliberate, and she was later excused. So day 2, the Assistant District Attorney Sarah Conley began her opening comments at 9:12 a.m. Mentioned, she said, a holiday weekend that had gone, that turned into chaos. And the scenario here, Cody Scruggs, Michael Dean Cole was the common law husband, boyfriend to Cody Scruggs' mother. They lived in a Cole, and they call him Cole. His name's Michael Dean Cole, but everyone in the family called him Cole, so I will go with that as well. But the big picture is there was Cody's brother, and at the time his girlfriend and 1-year-old child came down from Tulsa to spend some post-Christmas time. They couldn't get down here for Christmas, so they spent time at Cody Scruggs' mom's house. And the mother, Cole, her son, and his girlfriend and the baby all left the house to go to the car, which was in the driveway, to say their goodbyes. And the young family was going to go to Tulsa. Hugs are given. The baby's put into into the car seat. The brother goes to the driver's side to drive away. He gets into the seat, doesn't close the door, and that's when they heard multiple gunshots. And they all testified to hearing that. And Michael Cole was found dead at the scene just outside in the yard on that January 3rd night. The 911 call came in around 8 p.m. to kind of set that up there. And really, the opening statements, the closing statements, everything was really, really quick for this trial. Everything went really, really fast with this here. But the attorney for Cody Scruggs, Joan Lopez, mentioned her earlier. Her opening statement lasted 4 minutes, 9:18 a.m. to 9:22 on Tuesday. And she was telling the jurors that not everything seems as it is. It's not that simple. And then she brought up that Cody's dad is not a good person. That was her exact words. Dad is not a good person, and that he's not welcome at the mother's house, Cody's mother's house. And then Joan also said that Cody had been acting weird all day. So those were kind of the highlights of what the defense attorney said. The state ended up calling, I think, 9 witnesses over the 2-day period. Cody Scruggs' attorney, Joan Lopez, called 0 witnesses. Cody Scruggs did not testify in this case. So, and as the assistant district attorney Matthew Adams said, there's still questions as to why, and it really never truly comes out as to why Cody Scruggs, who was found guilty of murder, killed or shot at Michael Cole. And there's never a true reason why. There's some speculation maybe, but nothing really came out. The first witness called yesterday was a deputy, Caitlin Long. She was the first one on the scene. She's a 10-year deputy. Responded at 8:01 to the house. She got there at 8:16 p.m. It was a trailer with a large lot. She said she came across a body on his back with a gunshot wound to his face. I can fast forward here a little bit. and I'll go over this here again in a little bit, but out of his face, there was a shot that was in the back that went through the chin. That's what Deputy Long saw when she got there. The call, the 911 call, which was played in the courtroom on Tuesday, said the shooter was still on foot, and we'll kind of get to that part here in a second. Deputy Long said did not check a pulse. It was not safe to do so. This is still an active shooter. Don't know where the shooter's at. Don't know who the shooter at the time, but they realized pretty quick who it is, who they believe it is. EMS did not give any medical measures. It was apparent that the victim was deceased. The suspect was identified by radio. A 911 call came in. I can tell you, it ended up being Cody's brother's girlfriend who called 911. And she stated that it was Cody Scruggs who shot at him and took off on foot. Deputy Long worked on getting some information from the phone company, trying to find his whereabouts. Cody Scruggs lives, it was about a 1 minute walk to the north of where his mother lives. So it was a short walk there. Catty corner 100 yards. One of the first few pictures they showed at the scene was Michael Dean Cole laying on his back, which was exhibit number 3. I marked down that he was wearing blue jeans. He had a black shirt on, green hat, and had brown boots. That photo was shown a few times throughout the 2-day trial. The SWAT team was called out to the house on that January 3rd night, and they were unable to find him that night. They found him the next day. We'll have that here in just a second. And so that was Deputy Long. The next witness number 2 of 8 or 9, I'll have it here in a second, was the brother of Cody Scruggs. They do not share the same father, but they had the same mother. He lives in the Tulsa area. He came to Logan County. He told the jurors to visit with his family, mentioned his girlfriend and his oldest son, who was a year. He said Cole and his mother had been together for 8 to 9 years. I think it ended up being close to 10 years together. They said they arrived there around 10 a.m. on Saturday. They said Cody would come and go. He was never at the house, but he would just kind of come and go. He said he was on edge. He was uneasy. This was the brother describing Cody Scruggs. He said he was acting paranoid, did not see any arguments between Cole and Scruggs or others, but it just was uneasy. That word was used quite a bit when describing Cody Scruggs that weekend, was uneasy. They had dinner. They had pizza around 7 p.m. on that Sunday night, and they left a little before 8 o'clock. Again, the 911 call came in at 8:01. Again, acting on edge. It was unusual for him to do that. He had anger in his voice, but not toward anyone. He said the day before, on Saturday, January 2nd, there was a verbal argument, nothing too crazy, between the two brothers. He said everyone goes outside the back of the car. The car is backed into the driveway, so the trunk of the brother's vehicle is at the house toward the garage. They give hugs to everybody. He loads the baby in the rear passenger side, and Cole and the little brother, who the little brother at the time is 11 years old, and they're behind the truck with Cody. Remember, the mom, the girlfriend, and the oldest brother are putting the baby in the car. They're kind of over by the passenger side, where Cole, Cody, and the younger brother are in the back near the trunk area. Hugs are given, including Cody hugging his older brother. He said Cody was trailing a little bit of ways. Cody was wearing a black hoodie and some jeans. He said the door opened to get in, and he sees them walking away, them being the little brother and Cole. They were headed back toward the house, and that's when he heard loud noises. Didn't know immediately what that was, but realized quickly that it was gunshots. It sounded very similar to fireworks. He said it was multiple, more than 5. Fast forward a little bit. It's 7, maybe 8 at least bullets were fired off. We'll kind of get into the details of that here in just a few moments. Obviously, everyone starts to panic. Got into the car. The older brother jumped out of the car and saw a cloud of smoke, and he saw a silhouette, is how he described it, a silhouette from the front yard, and that the younger brother, the 11-year-old at the time, scrambles off, and then the older brother sees Cody Scruggs walk out of the smoke. He saw Cole, the victim, on his hands and knees in the walkway, lost his weight, and went to his back. He said his hands were in the air trying to reach for breath, is how the older brother described Michael Cole in his last moments. The mother went running for the younger brother. Again, this is the testimony of the older brother in this case, who testified on Tuesday. There was discussion that the difference between a rifle and a handgun and a shotgun. Almost everybody in the case knew what all three were and what all three sounded different. And the older brother said it sounded like a handgun. And the brother said it looked like he had a gun in a silhouette towards Cole. So it's cold, multiple gunshots fired, there's a cloud, and he sees the silhouette with someone with a hand toward Michael Cole. He said then Cody Scruggs came out of that and came up to him. At this time, the brother had closed the door, and Cody had come up within inches of him and looked in the car window and started walking to the north, which would have been toward his house. He said he looked afraid, upset, and angry, the brother describing Cody. He said his hands were in his hoodie pocket, and he started walking toward his house. They left and called 911, drove to a convenience store near I-35, and headed back to Tulsa. And they spoke a few days later to law enforcement in Tulsa. And so then John Lopez, the attorney for Cody Scruggs, had her opportunity to talk to Cody's older brother. And they said they had moved to Tulsa in 2009. And John was making sure that they lived in Tulsa, so they did not know the day-to-day living in Tulsa of the family here in Logan County. He said they had a pretty good relationship, but not real close, talking about Cody Scruggs and his older brother. And that and there was a good relationship with Cole and Cody's mother. And there was more testimony that the brother said that the father of Cody Scruggs was not welcome. The ex-husband of his mom was not welcome in the house. The brother said did not see Cody with a gun. He saw his hands in his sweatshirt, but never saw a gun. He said the brother said that Cody was making weird statements. That one of them was the radio was listening to him. He said he could not hear Cody and Cole talking. Remember, they were in the back of the car when they were saying goodbyes. He couldn't hear the conversation as he was facing away. So that was the brother. The third witness for the state was the mother of Cody Scruggs. She described her situation with Cole as a common law husband for 10 years, and her 11-year-old son lived with them. She says they were there the entire day except for when she left to go pick up some pizza, and that Cody was a little off. He was a little jittery, describing him on that Sunday. She said Cody was was outside when everyone goes outside to leave. So there was mixed. Some people say Cody walked out with them, but the mother said that Cody was already outside. Cody walked to her face, walked away toward Cole. She couldn't remember if Cody had hugged her or not, but she said he could have. She said she stayed stationary when she heard the gunshots. Sounded like a handgun. When she heard that, she went looking for her youngest son. She could see the gun smoke. She could see Cole facing the ground, but she could not see Cody, or did not see Cody. The small child runs past her, should say. She followed to get him. They ran. They were hiding from the car. Then they eventually took off toward to the backyard. They ran opposite. They went to the south. She said I should retract a little bit. My notes here. She said she saw Cody walking past car. Remember, the brother said that Cody was face to face with the car window inches away. She said she ran up to Cole, who was on his back. He wasn't responding. He wasn't breathing. She grabbed his hand to pick him up, but he would not move. So that's when they ran to the backyard. The 11-year-old, as you can imagine, was screaming, and she said never saw Cody after that. Afraid. She says she was afraid of Cody that night, obviously, after the situation. Many people would. The girlfriend called 911, and then the mother went to a convenience store, as she was really not sure what was going on during the moment. She later met law enforcement at another convenience store. She said, "I'm in shock." She later on went to Logan County Sheriff's Office to give a statement. They went back to the house to get some clothes. Again, she emphasized she did not know where Cody was. So after that, it was John Lopez, the defense attorney for Cody Scruggs, who was able to talk to Cody's mom on the stand. They went through some family background. Joan was hitting the part that the mother and her ex-husband, Cody's father, did not get along. She does not see him and does not like him. Those were straight from the witness stands, is what she said. She said Cody brought his dad to their house on that Saturday, the day before the shooting, and that Cole was not there. They were there for maybe 10 minutes. She said, this is her from the stand, they have a relationship, and that his dad talks to him to do bad things, puts things in Cody's mind. He's not good for him, is what she said from the witness stand. Another brother, the mother has 6 kids. Another brother was worried about the dad. They don't get along. She said Cody and Cole were avoiding each other on Saturday and Sunday. She said did not see Cody or Cole with a gun. She heard shots but not see anything. And then later on, she received a call from Cody, and he said that he loved her and that he shouldn't have been so mean, talking about Cole. Again, that's the questions. We don't know exactly. He shouldn't have been so mean. We don't know. Don't know what that means. That weekend, did they go outside and have an argument? Was this building over time? Did they have an argument a month ago, 2 months ago? Don't know. That's one of the questions that we might not ever get the answer to. But again, the mother says the father is a negative influence, and that another thing that the mother said on the stand, that Cody was never aggressive toward Cole before. She had never seen him be aggressive toward Cole. So that was the mother. The next person to take the stand, number 4 to take the stand, was the girlfriend of the older brother. And she kind of reiterated a lot about what was already said, and I'll skip some of that. But the thing that stood out to me that I have in my notes that she said from the stand was that she could see a bulge throughout the day on Cody Scruggs in the back, in the waistline. But she couldn't see what it was, but she can just see a bulge where his sweatshirt and jeans came together. She said there was normal interaction between Cole and Cody throughout the day, except for that they were eating pizza on the couch. Cole was in his recliner, and the girlfriend said Cody Scruggs was in the kitchen area. So Cody Scruggs in the kitchen, Cole in the recliner, and the girlfriend and Cody's brother on the couch. She can see Cody. She said she could see Cody Scruggs kind of staring at the back of the head of Michael Cole, and that she made eye contact with Cole, and that Cole got up, went into the kitchen area, and all she could hear was, you enjoying your pizza, to Cody, and that was it. And Joan did a good job on, the defense attorney did a good job of saying, well, if he was giving the staring him down, did you tell your boyfriend? Did you tell the mother? And the girlfriend did not tell anybody about the look. But she heard 8 to 10 gunshots. She said she jumped from the front seat to the back seat and covered up her baby. And as she had that split second to look out the back window, because remember they were backed in toward the garage, that she see Cole on the ground, and that also it was rapid fires. After that, they played the 911 call, which was the girlfriend making that phone call. That was admitted into evidence, and when the jurors went up to deliberate the case, they asked to hear that again, and so that was taken up there, and so they got to hear the 911 call again. The fifth witness yesterday was the forensic pathologist, who performed the autopsy on the body. She said she received information that it was a violent death with a family feud, is how she received it before looking at the body. Victim was shot several times, found in front yard. That was the information she had. Some additional information she shared was one bullet left the left shoulder. Others had exited. So one bullet was found in the body. The projectile was in the shoulder. We'll kind of get to the casings and the other projectiles here in just a second. But one was found in the left shoulder. Others had exited. She said 14 gunshot wounds, so 7, maybe 8 bullets hit Cole. It's in forensic pathology's world, I guess if a bullet goes in and out, that counts for 2. But said 7, maybe 8 bullets hit Cole. 2 to the back, 1, as I mentioned earlier, to the chin. And then it passed, all the bullets passed the vital organs, including in the neck area, thyroid. It was fatal. She described blood loss, and all the major organs were hit, including lungs, the heart, the liver, the spleen, pancreas, diaphragm. All were hit, and that Cole had passed away quickly, and that there was 2 entrants in the back, 5 in the front. And they showed the autopsy photos. The state did exhibits 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And Joan, the defense attorney, did not ask any questions. She did not have any questions for the forensic pathologist. The 6th person called, there were 7 on Tuesday. The 6th was a female who picked someone up and gave them a ride around the Forest Hills and Broadway. Now remember, the shooting took place, and the suspect, there was a search, there was a SWAT team. They're looking for Cody Scruggs in the middle of the night. They cannot find him, so they're looking all over him. So the next day, January 4th, 2021, which would have been a Monday. This female was driving, and she thought it was one of the brothers of Cody Scruggs. So she pulled over. He got in the car, said his name was he gave the name of his older brother, and asked him to drive him and stop him off a place around Waterloo Road, which ended up being near the area where his dad lived. And she let him out, and she said, "Tell your dad I said hi." And she described Cody as walking a fast walk. She ended up calling her mom and dispatch that she was suspicious of what was going on. She had saw all the Facebook postings that was put out there that they were looking for Cody Scruggs, that he was armed and dangerous. If you see him, to call 911. She ended up doing that. And then the seventh and final person called on Tuesday was Sheriff Damon Devereaux. After they found out who they were looking for, Damon on the stand said he knew the family, several of the family members, and that if they come across Cody, to let them know that they're needing to talk to him. And then Damon Devereaux said he got a call from the father on the 4th, and that Cody was at his house, and that they wanted Damon to come and get Cody, but they wanted Damon to come along. Damon being Damon did exactly that, went to his loan by himself to pick up Cody, and he said he put him in handcuffs and drove him to the jail, and said there was no incident. Took him in peacefully, and Joan Lopez, the defense attorney, again had no questions for Damon Devereaux. That ended Tuesday, right about 4:30, and then the third and final day was Wednesday, and the first and only witness called was Brett Weldon, who was the investigator, or the crime scene investigator, for the Logan County Sheriff's Office. Now works for the AG's office. Kind of does a little bit of everything. Did a good job on the stand today. But he let the juror know that he worked the crime scene, that when he got there about 8:30, that it was an active shooter scenario, just because no one was in custody. They showed pictures of the crime scene, which the little flags that they call them triangles, those yellow markings with numbers on them. We saw several pictures of that. It showed 8 casings, which were 6 to 11 feet away from the body, and they measured it out. So tends to tell you that the shooting took as close as 6 feet, maybe a little bit further. Investigator Welling kind of said seemed to be everybody was moving during that time. It was determined that it was a 9mm used. 3 projectiles were found, 2 along the house, 1 under the body, and then 1 under the body, 1 in the outer. Okay, excuse me. 1 under the body, 1 in the wall. There was a bullet hole in the wall. They did not tear the house down, but it was 1 in there and 1 in the body. Remember, there was a bullet projectile in the shoulder. They went through crime scene photos of the casings, the body, and they never did locate the gun. They called out canine dogs, canines, and some other great stuff that locating, but they were unable to locate the gun. And once again, the defense attorney, Joan Lopez, did not have any questions for Brett Weldon. So in the 2 days of the trial, I was there each day of the trial. On Tuesday, there was 2 people behind me, didn't know who they were. They were sitting to my right. And then Wednesday, one of those persons was back. It turns out it was Michael Cole's mom who was there for both days of the trial. I think she had a friend with her on Tuesday. But she broke down one time when they were showing photos. I thought, from what I can tell, I didn't want to turn around and stare. But they were showing the autopsy wounds. And she held up well. The only time that she showed some emotion is when they showed kind of not up close, but you can see his face, and she kind of broke down, as you can imagine, a little bit. There was an OSBI firearm specialist who did not testify, but kind of had a written testimony. The assistant district attorney read that into it, confirming that it was 9mm casings. They shot it, a gun similar to that, and it had the bullets, the casings, and all that kind of matched up to confirm it was a 9mm. So the state rests at 9:40 a.m. on Wednesday. And so it was time for the defense to have their witnesses, and there was no witnesses called by the defense. So then it was time for before the jury went away for a little bit, so the judge and the attorneys can talk about some legal matters. And Joan Lopez, the defense attorney, requested that manslaughter first degree be a part of the first degree murder charges as well, to kind of give the jury options of that. But obviously the state gave the reasons why he shouldn't, and the judge ultimately believed there was not enough sufficient evidence to do that. So that was overruled. So it was first degree murder, guilty or not guilty. That's all the jurors would have to decide. Once it's given to the jurors, there's a two-step. They go upstairs and they find guilty or not guilty. They come down, that's read out court. We'll talk about it here in a second. And then obviously found guilty. Then they have the second phase, which is the penalty phase. We'll go over that here in a second. Then they go back upstairs again and talk about that. So if you're a juror, you hear all the evidence. And this came out in closing statements. I won't go through every closing statement, kind of just but if you're an attorney, there are 4 elements that you have to match all 4 of these to get a guilty verdict. 1, death of a human, Cole. Number 2, death was unlawful, meaning Cody Scruggs didn't have any legal reasons to shoot and kill. There was no excuse for Cody Scruggs that day, is how it was described. Number 3, the third element, death caused by defendant. Again, the silhouette. Cody Scruggs came out of it face-to-face with the brother. And then the 4th one, death caused by malice and forethought, meaning a deliberate intent. Did he deliberately do that? So those were the 4 elements. After hearing all the evidence, they had to go up. The jurors had to go up there and decide, did the state meet all 4 of those? And the closing, by the way, Sarah Conley, assistant district attorney, spoke for 18 minutes, 10:17 to 10:35, kind of went over those 4 elements. And then it was Joan Lopez's turn to make her closing arguments, and it was a total of 6 minutes, 10:35 to 10:41. She said Cody and Cole had a good relationship. Cody's dad shows up. He's not welcome, puts things in his head. Cody's off. He's paranoid. She says, don't know what led up to that. There was tension that weekend. Don't know what happened to transpire that day. They talked about, she said the brother and Cole walked away to go back to the house. And she said, where's the little brother? He did not testify. He'd be 14 now, so I certainly wouldn't think if the state, I think, felt like they had enough evidence to get the conviction that they didn't need to put him on there. It also tells me they probably talked to him and probably didn't hear anything, so there was nothing of importance to put him on the stand to say anything, would be my guess. Again, there's just speculation here. Do remind, this is a Chris Evans podcast. This is on Segment Ad Media and nothing to do with the Guthrie News page. There will be a more formal article on Guthrie News page. But and then Joan also said he had no intent. He was not in his right mind. There was no malice or forethought. So as I mentioned earlier, the defense attorney was in a tough spot, and there was really not much a defense. Didn't say it was not Cody the shooter. 8 shots and then the final, the state has the first right to go first, and then the defense, and then the state actually gets to go one final time to wrap it all up. And that was Matthew Adams, who spoke for 3 minutes total. He just kind of kept going. 8 shots fired is malice and forethought. He intended to kill Cole. And then the jury on Wednesday was sent upstairs at 10:45. The judge excuses the alternate juror. And then the jury went to the room upstairs at 10:46 p.m. They went a little bit long. They knocked the door at 1:24 p.m. So they deliberated 2 hours and 38 minutes, which includes lunch. They had pizza in the jurors' room. So verdict was in at 1:24. At 1:34, 10 minutes later, the verdict was read out by the court clerk, Cheryl Smith, and the jury found him guilty of first-degree murder. And Cody Scruggs showed zero emotion when it was read. It was just face. There was not eye twitch. There wasn't a licking of the lips. There was nothing. He was just straightforward, much like he was the 3 days in the court. I got a little bit one more thing here on the penalty phase, but this was Cody Scruggs in the Logan County courthouse. For the record, this picture was taken outside through a door, through a window. Remember, if you ever go to court, you can't wear shorts and you can't take photos inside the courtroom. But that was Cody with his attorney, Joan Lopez, in the background. The second phase was the guilty phase to decide what the punishment will be. And it's either guilty, or it's either life with parole or life without parole were the two options for the juror. There was no opening statement, no witnesses for either side. The state of Oklahoma let the jurors know that Cody Scruggs had been convicted of 3 felonies in the past. Went over each one of those, 2, I believe, in Logan County, 1 in Kingfisher County. And life with parole, what that looks like, a life sentence is 45 years, and you have to serve 85% of that crime. So Cody Scruggs would not be eligible for parole until 38 years and 3 months if they were defining with parole. There was a closing. It was waived. The state waived their closing. And then Joan Lopez spoke for just less than 2 minutes that Cody is currently 33 years old. He was 29 at the time. And just the police just give him life with parole. And then in the closing for the state, Matthew Adams said, shot him 8 times. He sought to kill him. He also said this has caused trauma to others. And he asked why. We don't have the answer to why this happened. Why did Cody Scruggs do that? We don't have the why, but he executed Cole's what he said. As I mentioned earlier, it was just me and Cole's mother in the gallery. There was obviously deputies, 3 to 4 deputies at a time in the courtroom, but none of the family members for Cody Scruggs were in the courtroom on Tuesday or Wednesday. He was in there by himself. The jury got the penalty phase of this at 1:47 p.m., and the knock on the door to say we have a decision was made at 1:59. So they were in there at max 12 minutes to decide to give Cody Scruggs life without the possibility of parole. It was read at 2:03, and then the jury was excused at 2:04. The formal sentencing for Cody Scruggs will be May 17th at 3 p.m. And that is the recap of the murder trial of Cody Bernard Scruggs, again found guilty and was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Again, I am recording this, and if you have any questions or comments, you can always leave them in the comment section. If not, you can always message me privately if you have any questions as well. So closure in this case, and again, very tough for the family members who had to go through all this the night of, in the weeks and months and years after that as well. So that is the recap on this trial. And again, a reminder to be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll have video uploads on other great stuff from sports to talk shows and all that stuff. Appreciate you doing that. And check you out next time here on the Chris Evans Podcast.